Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have Mitch Waking Elk come up. He's a member of the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribe of Oklahoma. He also has a mentoring program that in Minnesota that he's going to talk a little bit about. But Mitch travels all across Europe and the United States touring, and he has CDs, music. He's a world-renowned musician, and we're awfully honored to have him grace us today with a few songs.
A little closer. Still recovering from that AIM song. Eh? I got some. So before I sing, I want to talk to you a little bit about what I do. I work in a school in St. Paul, Minnesota, called Guadalupe Alternative Programs, aka The Change Inc., which is the name that it's going to. I am the coordinator for a very small select group of Native youth that go to school in the St. Paul School District. The program is specifically designed to teach them ceremonies. The major requirement of the program is that the youth want to be in the program. We've been to 2 International Indian Treaty conferences, the second one of which we were asked to be there. We went to Standing Rock on a number of occasions, and after we went to Standing Rock, we watched a video by Steve Newcomb and Sheldon Wolfchild Peters called The Doctrine of Discovery, Decoding the Domination Code. I might have the name a little bit wrong. This was in January of 2017 when we watched this. After we watched the video, I asked the young people that I work with, how do you feel? And there was silence. And then somebody said, angry. And I said, well, what do you want to do about it? And again, there was silence. And I said, how about if we take it to the source? Let's go to Rome. And here's the story behind that. The reason that we are all here today, and the reason that our lands in this hemisphere and in other countries and other island nations are occupied, and we live in an occupied country, is because in the 1500s, there was a series of papal decrees, directives by various popes of the Catholic Church. And prior to coming over here, the Catholic Church had already decreed that all undiscovered lands by their explorers was to become the property of the Catholic Church. They officially declared war on the entire non-Christian world. Prior to coming over here, they had already implemented this in Africa and Madagascar and in other places. And then in 1493, after Columbus came here and went back, there was another papal decree that was written called Inter Cetera. That one, I want you to be very clear on this. That one has been abrogated according to Bishop Tomasi, who is now retired but who worked in the Vatican. So my little group and I, we started fundraising, and we started a negotiation process to meet with the Vatican on the papal bulls and the Doctrine of Discovery, to demand their revocation. And we were asked what areas did we want to work on, and we told them historical and intergenerational trauma. And so when we got there, it took us 17 months to raise the money. We raised $25,000. There was 9 youth and 5 adults, And we met on May the 7th, 2018 with 6 members of the Vatican. And each and every one of the youth presented, and we covered the areas of missing and murdered indigenous women, the doctrine of discovery, historical and intergenerational trauma, and we had a medicine man who was also a superintendent of a school from Pine Ridge, South Dakota, provide us with a letter. I came here to Oklahoma and I got a letter of support from Reggie Wasana of the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribe. And we presented these along, and years ago that I published my autobiography, which is called There Will Be No Surrender. I published them, I provided them with a copy of the chapter from the boarding school. I was in several boarding schools here in Oklahoma. And so their response to us was, well, first of all, there was a lady that accompanied us by the name of Gwendolyn Cates, and a law professor by the name of Bob Miller, who is the professor of law at Arizona University. They both, Robert came on his own and Gwendolyn came with us. And Gwendolyn is a filmmaker, and she's making a video of our journey there and all points in between. She's also been to New Zealand, Guatemala, and a few other places. And right now she's still in the process of trying to get the funding to finish this video called The Doctrine. Their response to us by their representative, Augusto Zampini Davies, was the Vatican representative, and he said that they preferred to work on the present and the future. And we said that we get that, but what they needed to understand, what's set in motion in our part of the world started with the Vatican, and our people were still reeling from it. And we wanted them to take responsibility for what they did. Prior to our going there in 2016, there was another group with us at the time we were there, but they had already been there before, and they were a group of 6 Nations people headed by Kenneth Deere. And as a result of, I guess I should say, all of the people that have met with the Vatican, and Kenneth Deere and Steve Newcomb, one of the filmmakers of Decoding the Doctrine. And I like to think maybe even we had some influence too, even though we came later. The Papal Bull of 1493 was abrogated. My purpose was to give these young people this experience and to empower us, to empower our indigenous people so that they could say, man, somebody's out there taking care of business, you know. But also to weaken the reason the United States government and the Canadian government and these various other governments who are in control of indigenous lands all over the world is because of the Papal Bulls, is because of the doctrine of discovery. Papal Bulls gave life to the doctrine of discovery, manifest destiny, and eminent domain. So these things all have a source. You want to teach something in your schools, teach about the Papal Bulls, and they're giving birth to the doctrine of discovery. And this is something that non-native people need to learn as well, because there's a reason that they came here and they don't know. And when we teach them, I think it will have a positive impact. And so I'm gonna do my best to sing a song here right now, and I want to just say thank you to David Hill, to Brenda Golden, to all the people who put all this good work, to Black Lives Matter for your efforts in coming here, and all of you beautiful people. And you know I'm from Oklahoma, but god dang it's hot down here, man. This is a song called Power in the Water. volume on the guitar? Gotta do that again.
Sorry.
Listen, Dan ain't got no plumbing, but it sure can right. He's been running all day long looking for some place to hide. Someone said some people coming and those folks ain't nice. Hurry and put your body somewhere else to take your life. Oh, but there's power in the water. Oh, there's power in the water. Oh, there's power in the water. There's power in the water. There's been shooting all day long and smoke has filled the air. I can hear somebody crying somewhere over there. The cold winter wind is blowing and freezing all the dead. Those that live are looking down at white snow turning red. Oh, but there's power in the water. Oh, there's power in the water. Oh, there's power in the sweat lodge. Oh, there's power in the water. I can hear a battle raging somewhere in history. They are coming to remind you, they'll wake you from your sleep. From the dead they all have risen, and in your past they stand. For the Lakota Wounded Knee at Sand Creek, Cheyenne. Oh, but there's power in the water. Oh, there's power in the water. Oh, there's power in the water. Oh, there's power in the water. I just want to say one more thing. A few years ago, I came to I was in support of Melissa Goodblanket and her husband Wilbur and the killing of their son by Custer County Police in 2013. And when I got home, I had a dream that the FBI was stalking me. So I went to a ceremony and I asked the spirits. I wasn't surprised because I don't go around the world talking about how great America is, you know. And they said, when I said FBI, they said, "Who's that? The fry bread inspectors?" And But they said, yes, you've been on their radar for a long time. They said, but don't worry about them. We got you. So I just want to encourage everybody. I'm so impressed by the turnout here, by the different racial groups, and by the young people. I was worried about our young people. Salud, Sidama.